We have top men working on it right now.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Be afraid. Be very afraid. Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to another episode of It Came From the 80s, hosted by the Nerf Herders. It's a gathering of old friends who try to stay cool in the 21st century while reliving our childhood dreams. I'm your host, Carter, and joining us as always on the podcast is Ray, the critic after the credits. And rounding out our trio is Jason, the token millennial resident nerd and that jackass that won't shut up. So guys, what's on the agenda this week?
The sexual hijinks of a group of mid-teen male students of Angel Beach High School in Florida are presented. Their main goal is to lose their collective virginity. In the process, they embark on games of sexual innuendo with female classmates, as witnessed by the activities of Billy, Tommy, and Pee-wee and their secret surveillance of the women's showers. Pee-wee is the most desperate, that desperation which gets him into one predicament after another, especially as he is the butt of many pranks. Sorry, I'm reading this from IMDb. Basically, the point is about a group of guys from a beach town in Florida. They're all trying to get laid. Pee-wee's the main character, kind of focuses around him. You got all these other characters and some of the issues that go with the high school hijinks of 1950s. So this was my pick. It's a movie I watched as a kid. Ray and I have discussed it, and we wanted to get Jason's opinion on the movie. So, this was a goofball movie. It was, up there with Revenge of the Nerds or, Hard Bodies or some of those other Skinamax softcore porn movies. But, had some good moments. I mean, Ray and I's favorite character of the movie was Miss Honeywell, a.k.a. Kim Cattrall, and the PE teacher called her Lassie, and he was trying to get his assistant teacher to figure out why they called her Lassie. So it's just kind of a funny movie. Jason, what'd you think?
I mean, I didn't like it. I don't know. I probably would have liked it in my adolescence, but watching it now, having kids, and I don't think it aged well. Some of the language and stuff at the time, I didn't like. But overall, when you look at the movie, when you really break it down, it's kind of a mix of like an Animal House / American Graffiti type movie. More modern day people would probably relate it to. It's along the same lines as like Varsity Blues or some of the newer movies that are out there, which I can't think off the top of my head. But a bunch
American
of guys
Pie?
in high school.
American
Pie would be another one. A bunch of dudes just trying to get laid instead of life in high school, and they whatever. So it was okay. Definitely wouldn't be. It's not going to be one that I would say it's ever going to be in my archive. But at the time, I see where it could have made sense. I think I was reading some interesting facts about it and stuff. It was one of the first movies that showed a wiener apparently at the time in that year or something, and that made a big stink about the movie and stuff. So, but yeah.
Did Blockbuster take it off the shelves?
I don't know.
No, they did
I
not.
guess to kind of fill in the audience, so Porky's is a establishment out in the Florida Everglades where these kids try to go hire their first sexual experience. So they go out to this bar, and it's kind of in a small town, and the guy that owns the bar's name is Porky, and I think his brother-in-law is a sheriff, and smells these high school kids coming a mile away, and pranks them, takes their money, and then basically sends them out back, and they fall in the swamp. And so the two sides.
One of them gets hospitalized too.
He keeps going back trying to get his money back or his pound of flesh from Porky, and ends up getting beat up pretty good. So part of the movie is these kids are trying to seek revenge against Porky for robbing them of their opportunity, and the other time is just goofball, high school antics. I mean, there's a shower scene where these guys basically go into the women's locker room and stare through the shower drain of these high school girls as they're taking a shower, and then there's this one kid who who tries to get the girl's attention by putting his junk in the hole, and the PE teacher is going to try to pull him through the hole and yank it on it. So it's just kind of silly stuff. But at the end, the kids and one of the guys' brothers is the sheriff of Angel Beach. They go back and they basically destroy the bar. They trash the bar, pull it into the swamp. So they get their justice in the end. So
speaking of that shower scene in Peeping Tom on Girls, like that scared me. Not that I ever wanted to use a glory hole in the first place, but like that right there, I was afraid as a child. I was like, is that really what happens? Like they try to yank you through a hole? No, I'm good. I never want to stick that anywhere near a hole in the bathroom. I just remember thinking that as a kid. So
yeah,
it's amazing. I'm sorry, Jason, that you didn't enjoy it. Again, I think.
Well, I kind of knew what I was getting into from last week with you guys. I also, in looking at it and kind of seeing the type of movie it was, I was like, okay, this is going to be like a Revenge of the Nerds, Animal House type movie. This was on the more extreme side, I felt like.
Right.
But, I mean, I don't know. It just, I mean, overall, I just think it was, I would honestly, if I had to put this in the mix of things like Revenge of the Nerds, Animal House, those types of movies, it's going to be at the bottom half for me or more. There wasn't that much funny antics in it. It was just a bunch of dudes.
Well, how far did you make it? I mean, did you see it where they went to the house out in the swamp they had the guy?
Yeah, they all line up in the house and they're all gonna take turns get laid for the first time, and they've got the dude that comes in there with the machete and scares them all and stuff. I mean, it was funny, but I don't know. I was just expecting a lot more humor than I guess, but it didn't do it for me, guys.
What about Lassie? Did you see the Lassie part?
Yeah.
No, nothing.
Wow.
Like I said,
you must have been watching this worrying about your wife or kids, buddy. I thought the movie.
No. It just I don't know. I just don't think it aged well. I mean, I never saw it growing up, so I don't have that nostalgic memory to it like you guys had, where it was kind of one of those first movies for you guys. It just, I don't know. It just didn't age well, I don't think.
Fair enough.
Like I said, Kim Cattrall, I mean, still has a special place in my heart. That woman's amazing. Her acting is just amazing. It brings me to tears every time I think about it. I don't know. I'm sorry, Jason. If you're comparing it to those type of movies like Revenge of the Nerd or what other movies did we say? Like, I'm not even really talking about American Pie.
Animal House, Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah, all those. I think this is far superior to all of those movies, just for the simple fact that it's a revenge story, it's a coming of age story, it's a get laid story. Like all those other ones, they like play it safe. Okay, it's like I had sex with a pie, or I basically raped a girl who thought I was her boyfriend in a Darth Vader mask. I mean, I'm cool. I mean, I guess they were all right, but this is like every time you think that they do something low, like it comes back to them. Like you're peeping Tom on Girls in the Shower, and then you get caught by the PE teacher. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like they never really.
I see where you're coming from. I will say this. I went with the expectation it was going to be a lot more humor, and there wasn't. And so I think that's what kind of also led me down the path of, not that great.
Well, the funny thing is if you look at this movie, and I mean, the political correct world we live in today, we always say there's no way you can make this movie in today's climate. I mean,
absolutely.
This movie's, the freaking Me Too, every political activist group under the sun would boycott the hell out of this movie if they tried to make it today.
No. Were there any gay people in this movie? I don't remember any.
No, but I mean, you had
you
had the racism, because you had the Jewish kid.
Right.
It just
dropped the N-word a couple times.
Yeah, and the whole thing just smells of date rape, and it's an all white school, so obviously there's that element you got to tie into it, and
But it did come out in the 70s, so I don't know.
1981 is when it was made.
Was it? Yeah, but the movie's supposed to take place in like the early 70s or something. 50s? Okay. Yeah.
Who would be mad at an all-white cast? What are you talking about?
No, I'm just saying that if you try to make the movie in today's time, just the whole white, I don't know, just it's And if a white kid town doing white kid stuff, I guess is my point. You don't see that. You see those kind of movies made anymore.
American Pie was all white kids and all white kid town.
American Pie came out 20 years ago, Ray. I'm talking about today.
Did it really?
Yeah, oh yeah, or if not longer.
Really? When did American Pie come out? Jason.
To the IMDb.
Right, to the IMDb.
It's at least 20 years old.
No, I'm not saying
1999.
Wow.
Yeah. Good
I was
job,
in
Carter.
grade.
Man. See, hold on.
In high school when this came out.
So do you think
when that came out?
Do you think you can make an American Pie right now?
Yeah, because American Pie didn't have, we'll call it rape. I mean, it didn't have, sexual assault. I mean, shoving your pecker through a shower hole and that sort of stuff. It just all of the Me Too's and the sexual harassments and all that, it wouldn't fly today.
So then you couldn't make Revenge of the Nerds now either then.
No. I think that's the thing. Is if you look at movies that are out now that are kind of on that raunchier side, it's stuff like Blockers that has John Cena in it, and
I haven't seen that.
You're not missing much. It's stuff like that. It's raunchier in a different way. It's like Neighbors or Neighbors 2, and it's a different type of trashy movie that you would equivalent to your Porky's or Animal House. Each generation kind of has those. I grew up in high school and it was kind of the Varsity Blues type movie. For you guys it was Porky's, Revenge of Nerds, and those types of things. And so I think over time, what you can do and what you can get away with shift around. Who is brushing their teeth and talking?
That would be Carter.
I wasn't brushing my teeth. I was trying to wipe something off my table. Wow, I have a good mic.
Yes.
So hold on. So let me say this.
So we got to smooth that over because I thought that was a good transition point. Just talking about these types of movies. So I think that when you look at movies like Porky's when they were made back then, what you could do and say was socially more acceptable, and over time, what you can do and say has evolved in some ways where we can't say certain things, but we can do different things now. Perfect example is in Blockers. They're chugging beer anally, through a tube. It's just different types of trashier, raunchy things. Back then, you would never see somebody doing that. They would probably have more of a fit over that, over you saying the N-word when Porky's came out, or the glory hole scenes and stuff like that. So it just over time, what you can do from the trashy movie stuff like this just evolves, I think. So it's not that you say you couldn't do American Pie. You could, but it would probably be different in a little bit.
I think you could do American Pie. That's a PG version of these movies if you want to get down.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even do Revenge of the Nerds. This one I think you'd have a hard time with, just because of the the aggressive style of the guys in the movie.
I mean the language, the content, the shower stuff.
Hey, I think you guys are trying to dump on my movie. This movie's great. Okay?
No, I love the movie. It was my pick. I thought it was
great. I mean, I would pick Masters of the Universe over Porky's.
Oh, you're tripping. You know how I ride for Masters of the Universe, but Porky's is a far superior movie than Masters of the Universe. But before we go further, and I want to get this thought out. So, would you say Porky's, the evolution of Porky's, would probably be like Superbad?
Yeah, although the movie Porky's at the yes and no. In the end of Superbad, Michael Cera he says, "Oh, I'm not gonna. I want you to remember this, and I don't want you to be under the influence when you do all these things." The Porky's, they didn't care. They were just "We're getting it in. That's all that matters."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like the evolution of, everything you're talking about, the Me Too, or even though I know this happened before Me Too, but I'm just saying of respecting women and not just being as raunchy, but kind of still going towards the, hey, let's see if I can, if I can get laid. The get laid movie. Let's call it that. The get laid genre. You know what I mean? Genre.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they're all different. Like there's Office Christmas Party that had
that was fun.
T.J. Miller and all of them in it. That was hilarious.
But I wouldn't consider that a part of this genre though, because no one was trying to get laid there. They're just trying to. They were just trying to have an Office.
No, there were tons of people trying to get laid in that movie. That wasn't the whole premise of the. So you got to
Yeah,
look at the movie. What are you trying to say the genre of the movie is? Is this a I'm in high school trying to get laid movie? Because that's
Yes.
basically you're looking at Skinamax porn movies of that decade or whatever. But if you look at the movie, what it really is, it's a kind of no holds barred, no language held back, crazy antics. There's the sex scene stuff. There's an objective that's unreal, that's somewhat unrealistic trying to get accomplished, then yeah, that kind of opens that spectrum up to things like Animal House, Nerds,
and see,
American Pie, and things like that. I mean, there's not that many movies out there that are probably like Porky's anymore, or ever were.
well, no, again, I still think that I'm trying to get laid is the genre this movie's in. Like that's the ultimate goal of this movie from the beginning to the end.
Well,
Right?
okay.
I mean, it kind of turns into a revenge story, but that's just because they were trying to get laid and they jerked him, quote unquote jerked him for their money. So they went from there, but still the rest of the time that's what they're still trying to do. And it's just like I said, like American Pie or Superbad. That's the goal of the movie. Revenge of the Nerds, basically. Well, they were trying to get laid and be cool, but
they
same
were trying to
difference.
be accepted more than anything.
Be cool, yeah.
Well, it's also it's I think Revenge of the Nerds falls very in line with this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because they got Porky beat these guys up and stuff like that, and then they sought to get revenge on them. What was it, Alpha Betas or whatever it was, I forget whatever it was in the Nerds. They trashed
You're
their
right.
place and all that stuff, and then they seek revenge on them. And so there's those two aspects of it. So this is the sub story here. I feel like is the getting laid piece of it. The main story here is a bunch of dopey guys trying to do more adult things, and they're idiots about it, and then they figure out a creative way to get revenge and get justice for their friend and everything that happened to them, and become the heroes at the end of the movie.
The Porkies, they just wanted to get laid. They didn't want to be heroes. they just wanted to score.
Just so happens they got a chance to get revenge.
Yeah.
Breaking news: Oscar winner Best Director was for Roma.
Which there was revenge in Porky's 2, Porky's Revenge.
Good breaking news, by the way. It was Porky's Revenge. Yes, that's
That was Porky's 3.
not as good.
Porky's 2, the next day, Porky's 3 was Porky's Revenge.
Neither one of them were as good as the first one.
Porky's 2, when they were in the graveyard, that scene was hilarious.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not hilarious. I just said it wasn't. Yeah,
and which one was at the end? Was it the end of this one or the end of Porky's 2 where Pee-wee actually gets in the bus with the old girl, and he does the deed.
It has to be Porky's 2.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Wendy.
When the end of it. Yeah, because the end of this one is just them putting into the swamp.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's Porky's 2 at the end.
Yeah. Well, overall, Jason, it's horrible that you didn't like this movie, this classic, this gem, dare I say, this cinematic genius that you didn't.
Well, like I said, I didn't grow up watching it. So for me,
joking,
somebody's watching it, 35 years old when it came out in the 80s, when I probably would have watched it in the early 90s or something, I probably would have had more of a special place in it. But,
Well, let me break down the numbers before we put this story to bed. So, at a $2.5 million budget.
Really?
This movie came out in 1981. I don't know the exact release day. 1981. $2.5 million budget. Opening weekend in the U.S. alone, it grossed $7.6 million on March 21st, in 1982.
Hey, hold on. But what does that tell you right there about how our culture was in '81? That
it didn't take
that
much money to make movies.
Right. No, I'm talking about it grossed $7 million.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not like $7 million like dollars now. Like the movies, what it costs probably like like $3 to go. So that's just it's just like it making, I don't know, like $60 million now or something like that.
And then it grossed $111 million in the U.S. alone. I mean, yeah, that's a $1 billion movie.
It's a $1 billion movie.
And hell, it was playing on probably 1/5 of the amount of screens.
Right.
Because back then there was like 12 theaters in Oklahoma City. Now you've got like 90.
Just think about that, man. That's how many people went back over and over, and it wasn't like a rated X movie, so you got all those like preteens, teens,
Oh yeah,
and college kids. Like we got to see.
Oh yeah,
Again.
the college towns. This probably was a sold out show for weeks on end.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, the numbers. Picture was a box office smash hit, despite being generally lambasted by film critics.
Yeah, Siskel and Ebert called it the worst movie ever I saw.
Worst films of 1982. Well,
how many times did they watch it though? Yeah,
and admit it.
Well, hey, you know what? That gives me 2 votes on my side, so it's a 3 out of 5. I win. It's a terrible.
Okay,
movie.
all right. Here's some numbers. 1980. Porky was the top movie in the U.S. for 8 weeks, and was second only to the 16 weeks that Steven Spielberg's E.T. held that year. So
dare I say it's better than E.T.
No, it's E.T. was the only movie in '82 that held the box office spot longer than Porky's.
Just saying, it's better than E.T. is my point.
Yeah, but I'll also say this too. I think y'all brought up a good point too when you talked about the theaters and stuff. It was like a big deal to go see a movie. Also, it wasn't as expensive. Now, for me to go see a movie with my family to get tickets, popcorn, I mean, it's $120.
Oh yeah, well, I took the girls last night to go see How to Train Your Dragon. It was we spent $30 just in tickets.
Yeah,
so.
Hiccup.
It wasn't it wasn't as good as the other two, but we digress. So that was Porky's the coming of age story of the boys from Angel Beach overcoming sexual frustration, racism, and bigotry. In the end, everyone gets laid.
Awesome.
So Ray, I think it's your pick up next. Jason had Mac and me last week, and then I followed up with this one. So we're kind of going all over the place as far as the broad spectrum of movies. So what do you have in mind for us to watch next week?
Oh man, you know what?
Hold on, breaking news for the Academy Awards, Best Motion Picture of the Year. Any guesses?
I just saw, so I can't guess. Carter, what do you think?
If I had to guess, I'm going to say Black Panther.
Why would you guess that? That doesn't even make any sense, Carter. Come on. We had an argument about that like 3 weeks ago.
I know, but nothing makes sense in the Oscars anymore. That's why I picked it.
No.
It's Green Book. Surprisingly, I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it. It's supposed to be really good.
I haven't seen it either.
So anyway, Ray, back off of our breaking news, hot off the press. What is your pick?
Well, since we're always talking about the 80s and you're doing breaking news, I think I'm going to have to pick and go back in time and pick another Michael P. Keaton movie. Alex P. Keaton movie. Back to the Future. No, you guys don't want to go Back to the Future? You guys don't want to go back in time? You're both muted for some reason?
No, I was muted. Sorry. No, right, I think that's a good movie.
That's weird. Yeah, we'll go with that.
It's a good staple movie.
Yeah, why did you both just mute off? What was that about?
I have no idea.
It's the appropriate thing to do. That way there's no background noise.
Whatever.
It's not like we're all sitting in a studio together. We're across the country trying to do this over Skype.
Quit telling our movie magic, our radio magic. It sounds like we're all together. But yeah, let's go to Back to the Future, man. That's it. That's a classic. That's a staple. Carter, get us out of here.
All right. This has been another episode of Midlife Crisis Matinee, hosted by the Nerf Herders. You can follow us on Twitter at Nerf Herder Radio. Hit me up at big_dues. You want to drop us a line, drop us some tweets, give us some feedback. We appreciate it. I know I say that every week, but nobody ever does. We'd love to get some feedback from somebody.
We're really lonely.
Yeah, from our listening audience. As I said earlier, as we're trying some different programming ideas, we do want to maybe launch another live podcast sometime midweek where we talk about maybe comic books or movies, or if I can get Ray off his Star Wars boycott. I'd really like to talk to him about that again because I've been watching Solo and it's not as bad as he thinks it is. Anyway, this has been another Bronze Cassette Award-winning episode of It Came from the 80s.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
May the force be with you.
Seize the day.
I'll be back.
Say good night to the bad guy.
Be my wingman anytime.
Bullshit. You can be mine.